swimmer's shoulder injury to a swimmer is exactly like a runner's knee injury is to a runner. Swimmers use their shoulders primarily for mobility and stability of their movements and their technique. When injured, it's usually the area around the rotator cuff. It could be the anterior part of the shoulder, the lateral part of the shoulder, or the back of the shoulder. Sure, you can do things with strength, such as external rotation. With bands, you can increase your mobility with doing some pull down with bands to the back and to the front, as well as tying a band around a sturdy object and doing some external rotation movements as well as some internal rotation movements with bands. But until you treat the source of the problem, which has to do with technique, you're going to take longer to recover from the swimmer's shoulder. The most common thing that I see that causes injury in the swimmer's shoulder is doing the stop motion in their stroke and reaching and dropping their elbow and starting their pull with a dropped elbow versus starting their pull where they push the palm of their hand behind their elbow. So let's go to the stop syndrome. A stop syndrome is when a swimmer is entering the water and they start to reach with their shoulder instead of their rotating through their hip, and their fingertips point up to the surface of the water like they're stopping themselves. Again, that not only causes resistance, but it's causing that dropped elbow, and that's going to put a lot of rotational pressure on the shoulder, and it's going to cause some shoulder impingement primarily in the anterior part of the shoulder. So what I like to do with technique is get the swimmer to focus on their hand entry, fingertips, wrist, elbow, and let their rotation help extend their arm deeper out in front of them after entry versus reaching with their shoulder and letting their shoulder do all the work. Believe it or not, you don't really use your shoulders at all when you're pulling. The shoulders are primarily used for the rotational part of the swim stroke. You use your rear delt, rear part of your shoulder, to help lift your arm out of the water, and then as you rotate, your shoulder is helping your arm with extension, but it's really the hip rotation that helps extend your arm deeper out in front of you, and it's the lats, the muscle in your back, and the triceps that help propel you forward. Also, the easiest way to think about that rotation and that hip rotation extension is after you enter, but you want to know that it's your underwater pull that's helped driving that hip rotation. While the right hand enters, the left arm just pulled. While the left arm enters, the right arm just pulled. So again, the most common cause of shoulder problems and shoulder impingement in the so-called swimmer shoulder is reaching and dropping that arm, elbow, after entry, and initiating the pull with your elbow. If you have any questions, I'd love to see a swim video so I can do that for analysis for you, and then I can recommend some structured drills that will help you with your technique limiter. Make it a great day.